You've worked hard for your money, and that is why we are constantly creating more secure and innovative ways for you to keep your money safe everywhere you go. Experience a safer and more secure way to cash in and cash out with MTN Mobile. Present your national ID, voter's ID, NHIS card, passport, driver's license, or your SNIT ID card whenever you visit any MoMo agent point to cash out money. Keep your transactions safe and secure everywhere you go because we are good together. Remember to present any of these valid national ID cards for all your MoMo transactions at agents points beginning from Friday, 2nd April 2021. Everywhere you go.
Hello family. Today is another day and we are back to do some education basically on mobile money. And for today our education is going to be centered on the ID card requirement for mobile money transactions, which is starting on 2nd April. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard in the news and also seen some on TV, some on social media that from April, MTN is going to start implementing a directive. And that directive is simple. Basically, what is going to happen is that if you are going to withdraw money from any mobile money outlet, or if you are going to cash out, or let me say if you are going to pick money from your mobile money account, then you have to go with your ID card. And a lot of people are asking questions that they want answers to. So this video is just going to do justice to it, the questions that are coming out of this policy directive that is coming. All right, so as we are all aware, MTN introduced mobile money over 10 years ago, and it has basically become a household name for doing financial transactions. And we are all aware that a lot of features were introduced and are still working on the platform, that is on the mobile money platform, which include payment of bills. And when I say payment of bills, what we mean is you go to a shop, a supermarket, you go to anywhere you buy something, you want to pay the money, you wouldn't have to pay cash. You just use your number, that is your mobile money account, and then you send the money to where you bought the item from. Most of them have accounts that we call the pay point account. So you send the money to them and then you are good to go. You don't need to be carrying cash all along, especially our mothers, our fathers, our uncles, our brothers and sisters who are trading. This really helps them and it makes work much easier, because gone are the days where you are traveling and you need to carry money all along from where you are going to the other side. Even at times people were robbed on the way and all that because they were carrying huge sums of money. But with mobile money, it's much easier. So that is one of the services. Even buying credit on your phone, you can even buy credit on your phone. You wouldn't need to suffer your way through. And when it comes to insurance, I'm sure a lot of you have also heard of the IO insurance, where you are able to do an insurance on the mobile money platform. And what has even become more popular is loans, where people can apply for quick loan and they are able to get the loan directly onto their phone without walking anywhere. So basically, mobile money is part of our everyday lives, and it's really a convenient service which is helping all of us to make sure we carry out our daily activities on a smooth level without needing to following all the hassles of going to join long queues and all that. And with all these innovations that mobile money has brought to us, you see some unscrupulous persons, scammers, fraudsters, are making the service unattractive by using various means to dupe customers of their money. And in line with this, I think some few days ago we heard that MTN is going to reinforce an initiative which is making sure that whenever you are going to withdraw money, you have to go with your ID card. And this is supposed to start on 2nd April 2021. And it's basically requesting that if you're a customer and you are going to withdraw money from your mobile money account from April, you have to go with your ID card. And it's just simple as that. So currently, when you are going to withdraw money, you go with your phone. The agent will ask you to allow cash out. You process the transaction, and then you also continue the transaction by approving on your phone. Now what is going to happen is that when you go to the agent will first inspect your ID card, watch your face, watch the ID card you are holding, and check whether they match. It's the same person standing there before he starts doing the transaction, because the system will request for the ID card. So that is basically what this new directive is talking about. So let's all take note. And when this news came, a lot of people are asking questions, and it has become necessary that we answer these questions. And so we are taking this time to educate ourselves more, to be able to understand what this particular directive really means, and then what is expected of me as a customer, and what is also expected of the agent where I go to perform my transactions. So the first question people ask, when is it going to start? Like I stated earlier, it's going to start in April. So from 2nd April, take note that when you are going to withdraw money, you need to go with your ID card. So the time is beginning of April. And then the question that most people are also asking, what type of ID cards can be used for mobile money transactions? So let's listen carefully. MTN is making it possible for you to be able to use the valid ID cards in the country. Now, first of all, is the Ghana card. So I know most of us have the Ghana card, and the Ghana card can be used to withdraw money from April. So please take note. Driver's license is also one of them. So if you have a driver's license, you can equally use that. Passport. If you have your Ghanaian passport, you can also use that. Your voter's ID. The voter's ID can also be used. The SNIT ID. You know, we have the SNIT ID which has a picture on it. So that particular SNIT ID can be used. And then our National Health Insurance ID. National Health Insurance ID. So these are the ID cards that can be used. So let me repeat them. The Ghana card, driver's license, passport, voter's ID, SNIT ID, and then the NHIS. So you can walk to the agent with any of these ID cards, and then the agent will simply go ahead and then do the transaction for you. But note that the ID card you are presenting must be your ID card. So the agent will watch your face, watch the face that is captured on the ID card, and then make sure that everything matches before the transaction can go on. So please, let's take note. Follow-up question, which is also equally important, is that if I registered the mobile money with, let's say, my voter's ID, but I've lost the voter's ID, I have my health insurance, driver's license, or any other valid ID card, can I use that ID instead of the one that I used to register the mobile money? So this is very simple. Once your name is the same, you can use any valid ID card. So if you registered with NHIS, for instance, and you have a voter's ID which contains your name the same as you have on the NHIS, you can use. Also, if maybe you registered with a voter's ID, but now you have your Ghana card which has the same name, you can also use it. So once the name is the same, then a different ID can be used. It belongs to you. You have your face, your name is the same, your date of birth, everything is the same. You can still use a different ID. So it does not necessarily have to be the ID you use to register. Once you have an ID which matches your name, your face, and everything, then it can be used. Another question that people are also asking, that normally most people do not carry the ID cards, and for the fear that it might get missing. So people are asking, can I use a copy of my ID card? Can I get it on my phone, and will it be accepted? Yes, it is possible to be used, but the condition is that the ID card you have captured on your phone, if it's a smartphone you are using and you've captured your ID card on it, it should be very clear, it should be visible. It's not an ID card which is taken in the dark and nobody can see it. The best way is to go with your ID card. But if for a reason you don't have the ID card with you, but you have it captured on your phone, the agent can use it, but only on the condition that the agent can see your face and see the face on the ID card and can confirm that these IDs are matching the person that is standing in front of me. So if you are able to meet that, then it can be used. So don't just go and take an ID card which is not visible. The face on the ID must be very visible. It must be clear, and you can be seen directly in the ID card as you, the person standing before the agent, before the agent can use it to do a transaction on your behalf. Okay, the other question people are asking, can you use somebody's ID card to withdraw cash on the person's behalf? For example, your parent or your mother or your father, you send the person's ID card to go and withdraw money on their behalf, or your mother sends you to go and withdraw money on her behalf. No. So please take note. You can't send somebody to go and withdraw money on your behalf. It's not possible. So it's very important to note that when you are going to withdraw the money, the name on the account or the name on the number should match the ID card, and then the person standing in front of the agent. So, for instance, your name is Abdullah Muhammad. The mobile money is also registered Abdullah Muhammad. The ID card is also Abdullah Muhammad. So, Abdullah Muhammad cannot send Yakubu Yaya to go and withdraw the money on his behalf. It must be the same Abdullah Muhammad with the ID card Abdullah Muhammad, and then the number which is also registered Abdullah Muhammad, then the transaction can go through. So let's take note. The person who registered the mobile money must be the same person coming to withdraw the money with his own ID card, and not that he has registered the mobile money but he's sending somebody to come and withdraw the money on his behalf. If you want to do that, then you may rather have to send the money to that person. Then that person can use his own ID card to go and withdraw. Whoever is withdrawing must be the owner of the mobile money account, standing in front of the agent with his ID card before the transaction can go through. And this makes things simpler. And also to add that I know at this time some agents or mobile money agents will be listening to us, and so some will also be asking the questions that if it's a mobile money agent and the person that did not come with the ID card details, can he skip the process? You cannot skip the process, because the system will require the details before the transaction can go through. So if you are doing the transaction, the system will require the ID type. So if it's a Ghana card, you indicate. If it's voter's ID, the system will give you options, you indicate. Then it will ask you of the ID number. Then it will verify the details you have entered with what is on the system. If it matches before it can go through. So as an agent, your duty is to ensure that the person comes to you, you watch the face of the person, you watch the ID he has brought to see if they are matching. Once they are matching, then you can go ahead to start initiating the transaction. As we are doing the transaction, the system will ask you the ID card the person brought, the type of ID he brought. So you select it, then it will ask you of the ID number. So when you enter the ID number, the system will now verify the details you have entered, whether it matches with what is on the system, before you'll be allowed to go on with the transaction. So it's very, very important. Without you getting the details right on the system, there's no way you'll be asked to go on. And let's all note that it is a duty we all have to undertake. This is something that is going to help all of us, because the mobile money is a service that is helping every Ghanaian to be able to do transactions easily. As we are speaking now, people even receive money on it right from abroad onto their phones, and it makes life easier for everybody. And so let's all ensure that we keep educating everybody. Some of us, we have WhatsApp groups with our year groups, our churches, our mosque groups, our various groups, our community, we have groups and all that. So let's share this information on the platforms, so that people will get to know more about it. And then beginning of April, it becomes easier for all of us to go on, because we are in this together, and we believe that with everybody supporting, is going to be very successful. And that is why MTN has also scheduled it beginning of April, so that between now and then we can do a lot more education. So don't leave it here. As you have heard, share this link with people on your WhatsApp platform, your various other platforms that you have. Let's share it so that everybody will get to know about it. All right, and before we go, we are all aware that fraudsters will not stop, and so we need to make sure we adopt the golden rules of mobile money to ensure that we don't get ourselves defrauded by these fraudsters. So let's follow the rules that MTN has given. And the first one is that you should not disclose your mobile money PIN to anyone. So your mobile money PIN or your mobile money password is like the key to your house. Once you give the keys to your house, it means that people can enter. So the mobile money code or password is not something you should be sharing with anybody. It's your secret. So please keep it as such. Do not share your mobile money code with anybody. Also, do not entertain calls or text messages from any number which is claiming to be a staff of MTN or calling from MTN directly. If somebody calls you that is calling from MTN and this and this and this and that, please, you have won a promotion and whatever, please do not listen to such people. Do not entertain such calls. Also, do not allow anyone to do a transaction on your behalf or discuss your wallet or respond to any promotion that you've not participated in. And MTN will only call you with the official number 0244 300,000. 0244 and then 5 zeros. 0244 300,000. This is the only number MTN will use to call you in case there is a need to contact you. Mostly what happens is that these fraudsters have also adopted a way where some of the last three numbers they are calling you with will be 00. So you will think that that number is MTN. The MTN number is 0244 300,000. There's no other number. If it's 400,000, it is not MTN. If it's 600,000, it is not MTN. It is 0244 300,000. So please take note. Okay, so in case you also want to report any fraud related issues, you can call 100. You can call 100. That is 100. Or somebody will also say 100. And if you are an agent or a mobile money agent, you have to call 114. In case you have a case to report on fraud, you call 114. Also, you can also report such issues to 1515. You can send a text message to 1515. But please, the key thing to note here is that if you are sending a message to 1515, don't only send the number. Please add the reason why you are reporting the number, the complaint. So if the person defrauded you or the person has defrauded somebody or he has sent you a fraud message, you have to indicate the message and then add the number so that it becomes easier for those who are receiving the message to follow up. So you can send a message to 1515 or 419. And if you also want to send an email, you can send it to mmfraudteam.gh@mtn.com. All right, so before we go, let's remember what we've learned so far regarding the new policy directive that is coming on board on mobile money withdrawals, where from the 2nd of April, you need to provide your ID card before you can withdraw money from your mobile money account. And these ID cards include the Ghana card, driver's license, passport, voter's ID, the SNIT ID, and NHIS. The SNIT ID must be the one with the picture. Let me repeat, the SNIT ID must be the one with the picture. So please, let's take note. And this information you have heard, please pass it on to your friend, a brother or a sister, a relative, your year groups. Most of us have year groups that we have WhatsApp groups and all that. Your community groups, your religious groups. Please, let's share the information. Let's help others to hear the information so that it becomes easier. So beginning of April, 1st of April, this policy directive which has come into place will be easy for all of us, and then we can continue transactions on mobile money like the way we keep on doing. Thank you, and please share the message.